Think about an iceberg. Your mind, your conscious mind, it's only 5% of what you're consciously aware of during the day. Everything else, it's your subconscious, your beliefs, convictions, thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything that's more repressed since you were born. Every single thing that led you to who you are today is stored in that subconscious. So every limiting belief you have, every limiting conviction, everything you don't essentially see, but it's something that's subconsciously holding you back, is stored in the back of your brain. So think about your mind as you having two parts of it. Subconscious mind in the back of the mind, and then the conscious mind in the front. When we understand that we have two sides of our mind, we can start to understand that there's things that we're not aware of, and that's where shadow work comes in. Limiting beliefs are so much deeper than we think. We have to communicate with our subconscious in different ways that we would with our conscious. Our beliefs shape us. We go back to our beliefs, we go back to our values, and it's really hard to acknowledge when those beliefs are not in the path you want to go towards and you want to move away from those beliefs, and they're subconsciously limiting you. So our subconscious mind is like a computer. We wake up, we go to sleep, and we do the same things over and over and over. So it stores all the memories, every single belief and conviction is stored in that subconscious mind. Think about your subconscious as like a computer programming everything you do day by day, taking in everything from the environment and processing it daily, constantly. So when you start functioning autopilot and you're doing bad habits, or you're in this unconscious rut of emotional ruts or emotional feelings or thoughts that are keep holding you back, whatever it might be that it's subconsciously holding you back, limiting you from your fullest potential, that's stored in the subconscious. And the problem is that sometimes we cannot see that. We cannot see those beliefs. So for instance, if I want to ride the bike, but I don't believe I can ride the bike, then I'm never going to have the student mindset to learn how to ride the bike. Because no matter how many opportunities I have in front of me, no matter how many resources I can go and get for me to learn how to ride a bike, if I don't believe I can ride a bike because someone told me that I could never ride a bike, then I'm never gonna prove to myself that I can consciously learn how to ride the bike. It goes into what Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung talked a lot about, which was uncovering the collective unconscious and the subconscious mind, which is that 95% of our mind that is unconscious, or every day that goes unconscious. Think about everything you do that you do unconsciously, that you don't really have to cognitively think about how you're doing it. So you wake up, you probably go do your coffee and you do it the same way you did the day before. You don't have to think about how to do it. You're subconsciously in that act. Just like that, we pick up beliefs, we pick up emotions, we pick up cues from when we were born, especially from ages 0 to 7, when we are in that theta state of picking up everything from our environment. It's this whole psychological aspect to our brain that we have to start to understand and communicate with our subconscious. But the thing is that there's a little problem, because how do we change a negative belief, or how do we uncover we're in a rut? What is that cause? So it's not as easy as you saying, oh, I want to learn how to sing. And you always wanted to learn how to sing and you always thought you had potential, but there's unconscious beliefs that are holding you back. It could be from someone you know, it could be from things you picked up in your environment that told you that you could never achieve whatever you wanted to achieve. It could be all of these things that you unconsciously are not fully aware of. So how do you change those beliefs? So you have to change your subconscious patterns. You have to communicate with it. You have to learn to bring these two together. We're only 5% of the day cognitively using our conscious mind. Our conscious mind is how we creatively do things. So when we're thinking, we're analyzing, we're putting things together in a creative way, putting in the cognition to actually do things. It's like a different type of flow state. When we're here, it's really hard for us to communicate with our subconscious because our subconscious is more programming. It's going in autopilot. So it doesn't work like you telling your subconscious, I want to be a good singer, so I am a good singer. No, your subconscious is not going to automatically pick that up, because it could have so many limiting beliefs and thoughts stored there that you have to work with to understand. So how do you understand your subconscious? You have to change the way you talk to yourself. Start to analyze what you do on a daily. So how do we change our subconscious if we're 95% of the day in autopilot here? We have to see it as a tool. It's our engine. It's how we new habits, and a habit could be good or bad. So whatever we have stored in our subconscious could be serving us or could be holding us back. So if we want to see what limiting things are there, we have to start to understand that we have to tap into our subconscious in a different way that we would consciously do it. It's not as rational as we think. It's not that by us telling ourselves, I want to change this certain aspect, and you talk to yourself like in a logical, rational way. That's not how it works. Your subconscious is just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over. What are those patterns, your limiting habitual patterns that you're going through during the day? And how do you find that out? Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton talk a lot about the brainwave frequencies. These are the brainwave frequencies from when we wake up to when we go to sleep. When we wake up, we're here, then we start to escalate to here. When we're in that cognitive thinking, we're in that beta state. If we're in that beta state doing tasks and cognitively using our conscious mind, and we try to change our subconscious, which our subconscious operates at a more delta and theta state because it's subconscious, it's unconscious, it's the autopilot things we're doing, then it's not going to work. We have to find that middle ground. We have to find that alpha middle ground. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about prioritizing meditation when you wake up. Instead of waking up and automatically getting your phone, jumping to that brainwave of beta, when you wake up, you're in delta. You start to wake up and getting out of the brainwave frequencies. So when you wake up, instead of automatically using your cognition to get your phone, check your phone, when you're in that theta state, alpha, as soon as you wake up, journal your intentions for the day. And then when you go to sleep, that you're kind of sleepy, you're back here in these brainwaves, you journal again. Whatever didn't work during the day, little by little you start communicating with your subconscious, because your subconscious is like when you're going to sleep, when you're in that subconscious state of mind. So the way to communicate with your subconscious is to acknowledge when you're about to go to sleep, when you're waking up, what are you inputting into your brain? How are you setting your intentions? Are you noticing the patterns you're going through the day? Some people wake up, go to sleep in autopilot. They don't even journal, or they don't even think about what they did during the day. They live in this autopilot, so they're not even conscious of what they're doing during the day. When you start to implement journaling or whatever your form of self-care is, it could be like a simple self-care walk after eating. When you wake up, you go on a walk without your phone, whatever it is that you can tap into your own self without having exterior things coming into your brain. So you're more in that subconscious state of being without rationally being in that beta state of using your cognition. You're more here, you're more relaxed in that flow state where you can start to set your priorities. Journal. What do you want to change? What beliefs do you want to prioritize? Little by little, your subconscious start picking up that. It's like a subconscious pattern that you're going to start to see in your daily life play out with meditation, journaling, with all these little techniques that Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton talk about more. Understanding the brainwave frequencies and understanding that you have two minds is really useful to understand that your mind is way more complex. You have to use a lot of self-compassion and understanding when you try to communicate with yourself, because there's a lot of things going on in our mind that we're not aware of. So we can't just change things like that. It's a process that we have to be super patient with ourselves. We're all going through our subconscious baggage. So it's a matter of understanding it and taking care of it and seeing the ways we can communicate with it by implementing that time for self-care. So yeah, be compassionate with yourself. Remember these brainwave frequencies. And yeah, neuroscience and all of these things is so interesting to understand. It's a lot of compassion and self-understanding and self-care we have to implement. Self-awareness of who we are. So yeah, go take care of your brain. Understand that you have two sides of it. and understand that you're not this simple rational thing you could just give orders to. You have to actually work patiently with yourself, and how you do that is with cues, understanding, and journaling. And remember, from ages 0 to 7, we were in this theta state. So theta is when you're in that creative state of being where we can tap into those states right now when we're older. But from ages 0 to 7, we were just picking up information from our environment. Everything we believe, every cultural convictions, beliefs, thoughts from other people were implemented in our mind and could be very stored in our subconscious. So if we have negative beliefs from other people or beliefs that are holding us back, then it could be like a lot of shadow work we have to go through to understand that. And it might be really, really deep into our subconscious. Bringing it to light, bringing it to consciousness, bringing it to this beta conscious state of your mind by implementing cues to communicate with your subconscious and understanding that you can change that. And I know it sounds a little more complex. I'm going to do a more detailed video about this, but I think that the structure is really useful to understand that you're not this robot mind. You're way more complex. So start treating yourself with compassion, but self-discipline and self-awareness. We all have our baggage. So yeah, be compassionate with yourself and with others. You cannot achieve what you do not believe in.